Welcome to a brand new video of the Target Individual program, the Target Individual Experience. So I got a few videos to show from this morning. Um, like I said, recently, they've been using a lot of Hispanic women in my targeting. And today I'm going to show you guys how I was being conditioned, right? How they set up the anchors, right, using Hispanic women. And then I'm going to show you the trigger, and then the actions follow uh, behind the trigger. So they can use the anchor and the trigger as the same thing, right? And in this case, they use the Hispanic women. Okay. So before I start the video, I want to go through a couple of things that I've talked about already, but I felt it was important that I go over it again uh, before I show the video and explain what was going on, so you guys can have an idea of the coercive persuasion programming and how it works and what they do. Okay, so coercive mind control tactics. Today's mind control or brainwashing in academia is commonly referred to as a coercive persuasion, coercive psychological systems, or coercive influence. The short description below comes from Dr. Margaret Singer, Professor Emeritus at the University of California at Berkeley, that acknowledged leading authority in the world on mind control and cults. Coercive system or behavioral change system, which use psychological force in a coercive way to cause the learning and adaptation of an ideology or designated set of belief, ideas, attitudes, or behavior. The central strategy used by these operators of these programs is to systematically select, sequence, and coordinate many different types of coercive influence, anxiety, and stress-producing tactics over continuous periods of time. In such a program, the subject is forced to adapt in a series of tiny invisible steps. Each tiny step is designed to be sufficiently small so that the subject will not notice the change in themselves or identify the coercive nature of the processes being used. The subject of these tactics do not become aware of the hidden organizational purpose of the coercive program until much later, if ever. These tactics are usually applied in a group setting by I can't say intended, so I'm not going to say that, but deceive friends and allies of the victim. This keeps the victim from putting up the ego defense we normally maintain in known adversarial situations. The coercive psychological influence of these programs aim to overcome the individual critical thinking abilities and free will, apart from any appeal to informed judgment. Victims gradually lose their ability to make independent decisions and exercise informed consent. Their critical thinking, defenses, cognitive processes, values, ideas, attitudes, conduct, and ability to reason are undermined by a technological process rather than by a meaningful free choice, rationality, or the inherent merit or value of the idea or proposition being presented. And then it says, how do they work? So I'm not going to read the tactics, but let me finish it. So the tactics used to create undue psychological and social influence, often by means involving anxiety, stress, fall into 7 main categories. Tactic 1, increase adjustability. Tactic 2, establish control over the person's social environment, time, and sources of social support. Prohibit disconfirming information. Make the person re-evaluate the most central aspect of his or her experience of self. Create a sense of powerlessness. Create strong, aversive emotional arousal. intimidate the person as tactic 7. Okay, so now let's move on to the hidden evil, which I read in the previous video, but I'm just going to read just certain parts again. Okay, so um, it has been said that when you're first targeted, you get hit hard with in multiple directions. Presumably, this is done so you'll collapse after experiencing recurrent emotional violence, which is compounded after realizing that all normal support structure have been removed. So, like I said, over the years, the situation with me and Pam, for me accusing her or telling her that she's targeting me again because we're being microwaved, my kids are being microwaved, I'm being microwaved. So we're at a point now where we're like I guess completely done. And so that was the last support system that I had because I don't get support from my family. She was the only one that because I watched the kids stuff like that, and so I'm over here, but I never really had her support. Okay, so I shouldn't say I lost her support system, but I never really had her support. So during our argument that we were having, she told me that she was trying to train me, and I guess train me in a way that is beneficial to her in terms of me being here watching the kids while she go and do whatever she wanted to do, and not have any responsibility of taking care of the kids. And that's something that I just refused to do because I knew what they were up to. Because part of this program is what they try to have the targeted individuals become a servant of someone, whether it be a handler, right, to kind of get the target in a servitude position. When I was working, they were sending me a subliminal message of not being paid, that they were going to take my paycheck. So like the day before or a couple of days before um, my pay date, my manager used to come over to me, talk about payroll, and would, put his hands over his mouth, right? Or he will fold his lips, okay, like this, okay. And I've talked about this because you'll see in the video also, you'll see civilian perpetrators doing the same thing also. So this was what they were trying to do, okay. And when Pam told me that she was trying to train me, I mean, I'm a human being, right? So when somebody said they're trying to train you as an adult, it shows you that they don't see your humanity, that they think that they can manipulate you, they can brainwash you, they can train you however way they see fit, right? And it's okay. Well, it is not okay. Okay, so this happened in Germany, right? And the same thing that's happening today, the exact same thing, and not just today, but decades ago, starting from the early '90s. Okay, this was being done to individuals. All right, so in Germany, they said that in Germany these methods were contained in two programs: Zersetzang, Zersetzang, Zung, and directive perception. They are basically German version of Quanta Pro. Zersetzung was developed to psychologically destroy a targeted person. Okay? And this is what they do. And if they can't psychologically destroy you, they will ruin your career, they will destroy your family, they will destroy your friendship, destroy all of your relationships. Okay? If you have a job, they will do things. They will job mob you to get you out of the job, whether you leave or they'll fire you from the job. Okay, and then they'll use the homeless theme and the suicide theme or the theme of pedophilia or stuff like that. So when I show a video of them using kids to target me, that's the pedophilia theme that they try to use. Okay, so so Dr. Munzer drew a parallel between the current program and what occurred in East Germany. he explained. In Germany, this is called Zersetzung, and this means the dissolution or disintegration of the thought of the targeted person. Okay, and then it goes on to say in her 2000 book Stasi-Land, author Anna Funder described Zersetzung as a concept that involved the annihilation of a person's inner self, okay, by engineering reoccurring problems in their personal and professional lives in order to induce hysteria and depression. Okay, directive perception was a similar program intended to destroy an individual life by creating perpetual crises in their career, social life, and health. It was intended to prevent the individuals from using their talent while instilling feeling of hopelessness and fear. These directives were used by the Ministry of State Security. But in this case, we're talking about the FBI and the local and state police and the CIA, right? Those in the security and law enforcement agency are using this program because, again, it is to cover up the non-consensual human experimentation. Like for me, implanted with a microchip for remote neural monitoring. And again, when I'm being attacked heavily by this, I get headaches. Okay, and that's what's been happening. Okay, so now that I've read that, let's go to the video. Let's go back here first, and let's go to psychological manipulation. So again, this is important, and let me find before I start the video. Let's see here, psychological warfare and manipulation in covert type investigation. Okay, I'm gonna leave this right there, and I'm gonna come back to this. Okay, all right. Where we at now? Okay. Okay. All right. So recently, like I said, they've been using Hispanic women to target me in a particular way, as well as black women, Jewish women. But like I said, for the past week and a half or 2 weeks, they've been using Hispanic women in a particular way. Like I said, when I go to the bus stop, there'd be a Hispanic woman standing there, and everybody that's walking would be looking at her. When I get off the bus to go home, as I'm walking, there'll be a Hispanic woman walking in front of me. Okay, as I exit out my apartment, across the street, the building across the street, there's a lot of Hispanics that lives over there. And when I come out, there'll be Hispanic women either standing there or coming out at the same time that I'm coming out, and they'll start playing with their hair or they'll start sticking their fingers in the air, right? So again, so like I said, I called my brother. I'm like, hey, have they been using a lot of Hispanic women in your target recently? And he told me, he's like, yes. So not only are they doing it to me, but they're doing it to other TIs too. Okay. So, all right, let's get to the video. So this, again, they will from time to time use the homeless theme. And as I'm exiting out Pam's building, walking, I saw this homeless guy, and he was, when he saw that I started recording him, he walked off. Again, so you see him there in the red shirt, and again the color red, the theme red that they've been using a lot recently. Okay. All right. So then, as I'm walking, because they knew I'm going to the bank because of remote neural monitoring, I didn't tell anybody I was going to the bank. Okay. And when I got to the bank, they had civilian perpetrators within the bank. So I went to the ATM machine. They were targeting me in it also. And again, part of my targeting is also centered around trying to take away my disability, right? And you're going to see the theme of that also, and I'm going to show you guys in the video. So as I'm walking, he turns towards me, starts doing these hand signals. Okay, he was just standing there now, but the minute I crossed the street, got close to him, all of a sudden he becomes very animated. Okay, she starts moving his hands, looking at his nails. Okay, and again, these are, they may be homeless, but they're paid actors, or they could be actors. You know what I'm saying? I mean, paid homeless actors, or there could be actors pretending to be homeless. Okay, so this is what was happening. Okay, so now this morning, this is Friday, uh, the July 19th, I think. Let me make sure. Let's see here. Yes, Friday, July 19th. Okay, I left the house about a little after 7, walking to the bus stop. No, I've been for the past, with the car, went into the shop on Friday, last Friday, and it's still being worked on, so I don't have the car. So for the past week, this past week, I've been taking the bus. Now, also, I've also been trying to get a copy of my high school diploma because I was planning to go back to college in the fall and just go back to school, right? Try to do something to keep my mind off of what it is that they're doing. And I know it's going to be hard because any TI that I know that I've enrolled in school, they've all been targeted in the academic setting. So so I'm prepared for that, right? Because I already know what's going to happen, right? So my mother had my diploma, so I called her like 2 weeks ago, and I said, "Hey, can you get my diploma for me?" So she calls me. She tells me, "Yes, I have it." So I go. She gives it to me, and I look at it. I'm like, "This is not my high school diploma. This is my junior high school diploma. Where is my diploma?" She couldn't find it. I never took it from her house, and she's been living at the residence that she's at now for, going on, probably about 30 years. Okay, maybe even longer than that. And so she couldn't find it. Okay, I had to look multiple times. She couldn't find it. Now I have a brother, an older brother, who they use in my target a lot, and he'll do anything for money, anything for money. So I have no doubt that that they probably got him to steal my diploma, because now I've been trying to contact the Department of Education, New York City Department of Education, and the numbers they've been giving me, has been no good. Okay, when I called, I got the number for what's supposed to be the records department, and it ended up being the special ed department. Okay, after being told it was the records department. So I'm having a lot of difficulties. My old high school closed down. It is now a charter school. So I may have to go there and try to find out if they know what they did with the records. I'm most likely they probably don't know, but you know I don't want to just give up. So I'm going to go down there and try, and then I'm going to go down to the Department of Education and myself personally and see if they can help me, because calling them over the phone is absolutely no help. And again, they do these things to try to discourage you from improving yourself, right? Because this is what this program is designed to do. It is designed to destroy your life, right? And it is designed to uh, label you mentally ill because you're being experimented on, or you have been microchipped, right? And you're being microwaved, and that's how they get away with it, right? So I talked about how, you know, um, certain countries, including the United States, use the psychiatric industry again to uh, diagnose someone with mental illnesses, mental illnesses, in order to abuse, to silence, to experiment, and to get away with it, right? So that's what's happening. So anyway, I'm walking to the bus station. Now remember, I've been taking this same route to the bus station, and I've never seen a police car parked up there except for today. And the reason why is I was talking to Pamela last night. We was having a pretty serious conversation, and I thought we kind of got somewhere, right? So now what they're going to do now again is because I the conversation, I finally thought that maybe she she has an understanding in terms of you know believing me in what's happening to me. So now they're going to start threatening me, right? And they're going to use this opportunity again to run multiple subliminal messages, and I'm going to tell you guys exactly what these subliminal messages are. Okay, so as I'm walking, this two people here came out of a building, and all of a sudden, the minute she came out, she started playing with her hair, and she must have been doing it for like about a minute, right? Her hands was all in her hair, playing with it, and I'm like, you know, she's not really fixing it, but again, it's geared towards me. Then on top of that, you'll see the guy. He has a bunch of keys in his hands, and he was shaking it as he came out the building. Now I talked about this and what this represents, right? When I was taking my oldest son and mother to court in family court, the court officers would walk by me and they would shake their keys every single time that I was there. So again, all of that was part of my conditioning. So what they're gonna do is that they're going to hit me with a heavy blitz. Okay, so you'll see, she's playing with her hair. She's not really fixing her hair, just playing with it. Okay, hold on a second here. Let me see if I can just lighten up the video just a little more. Okay, so you guys can see better. You got to excuse the background noise. They're doing construction outside, so that's why you guys are hearing all this noise. So now you'll see she has her hands behind her back with her palm uh, facing out towards me. Okay, and now she takes her phone out, but again, that's masking, right? That's masking, and again, there's a police car right there. This is all in conjunction. They're all working together. Okay. So guy comes out. He's looking at me because he knows I'm coming. He's looking at me. So he walks. Then you're gonna see he looks over the police car and then he sticks his finger in his ears. Okay, so his hand goes up. He's sticking his finger in his ear. So what I was saying is that when you start doing things um, multiple times, like you may walk to a bus stop or what have you, you won't see the police, but eventually they will show up. Just give them a couple of days because they have to plan shit out, right? And this is what the accumulation of walking to the bus stop to take the bus. So they know that because I don't have the car, so this is what they're gonna do. So I'm recording, and let me just go back slightly. Okay, let's see here. And you'll see the police officer. He has his hands there because he's tugging on his ears. I believe that's his hands. Yep. So that was his hands, and he's basically stuck his finger in his ears. So let's go back again. You guys can see. I'm not bullshitting you. Okay. Watch. When I say the police are actively involved in this brainwashing program, I mean it. So you'll see his hands, and he's basically sticking his finger in his ear. You see his hands come down right there. Okay. Now they start now turn their attention towards me. The person on the passenger side, the officer on the passenger side, you see his head, his face. He's looking at me. The officer and the and this is the black and white, and they run the black and white theme, right? To saying that black people as well as white people are united in, targeting me and stuff like that. So now they're showing the black and white police officers, because in the beginning it was primarily police officers and white people that was targeting. And over the years, they've infiltrated, manipulated the black community and other communities of color into participating in targeting me. Okay, and let's see if I can get the license plate number of the vehicle. Okay, wait, I think I had to increase the size of the video. So at the end, I'm gonna go back. Let's see if I can stop it exactly where it just shows the license plate. Okay, I think it's 4231. But I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna adjust the video so you can see the license plate of the police car. Okay, so now got past the police car. See this guy walking towards me. Now he's going to start pinching his nose, right? Okay, pinching his nose, and then you see the folded lips. Okay, this is what he's doing. Okay, and they're not done. And so remember, I talked about the use of Hispanic women. So you'll see this is the first one they're going to use. And again, you'll see they're going to mask, they're going to do masking, because this has to appear normal to everybody else, right? But if you're the the person who's been conditioned, who's been brainwashed, you know, this is what you see. This because these are triggers and anchors. This is built into your psyche, right? So you'll see they'll use the palm of the hand again, because you'll see what she does is that she switches her bag that she was holding, right? And watch how she opens the door. So she opens it to where the palm of her hand is facing towards me. Okay? Instead of naturally, because you can see the way how she's turning, that's an unnatural position, right? So I want you guys to understand human behavior, because this is what these people are expert at. They are expert in human behavior, expert in psychology, expert in human anatomy, in technology. Again, because we're dealing with people within the U.S. government, the security agencies and law enforcement agencies. So these people are being trained exactly what to do when they're around me, or when they're running a street theater program or street theater skits. And this is what's happening. So you see here. So why didn't she just put the bag in her other hand, and that way when she opens up the door, it'd be more natural for her to enter into the business, right? But she has to do it in an unnatural manner, because again, they want to use the fixation of the palm, right? So this I'm talking about being hit with a heavy blitz, okay? And then you'll see this guy walking behind her, okay? His eyes is, shift to the Hispanic woman that just went into the I'm not sure if this is a Dunkin' Donuts or not. Now you'll start to see the hand signal. So he takes his hands out of his pocket, and he starts doing the hand signal. Okay, so what he does again, he puts his thumb on his index finger, right? But again, now he knows that I'm recording, so he's going to mask now the middle finger, right? So if you look, you see his middle finger just slightly sticking out, right? Again, this is all masking. As he's doing that, you'll see another Hispanic, and these are all Hispanic people right now. They're going to use it, in a row. And there's a Hispanic lady right here, and there's a Hispanic uh, teenage girl. And when he starts doing this, the hand signal, she starts playing with her hair. Okay. Again, so what they're doing is sending me a threat. Okay, and that threat is that because I talked about, when I was working, how this police officer, and certain times during the week I would take the stairs. I always take the elevator, but for whatever reason, those times that I take the stairs, this officer, right, plain clothes, but you can see his shield around his neck, would be at the bottom of the stairs, right, with his hands on the railing, with his pointing finger, and he would like this, you know. So again, that was all part of their conditioning, and I didn't pay too much attention to the index finger until, you know, civilian perpetrators would walk towards me and will, just start sticking out their index finger, right, their pointing finger. So that was how, you know I was being and had been conditioned. I didn't know the process at the time. I didn't know the name, you know, because you don't get that information, right? And imagine those TIs who were in the 1990s, early 90s on up, that have been severely uh, psychologically destroyed by this program. There was no information out there to help them. Okay, and that's what I decided when it started happening to me a couple years later. When I started doing research, I decided to start doing my internet talk show and also YouTube videos, but not in this format. I recently started doing it in this format in a couple of years after I got a better understanding, a more understanding of this program, and decided to explain what was happening and using my experience as a reference so people can see and understand and be aware of what is being done. Okay, so let me continue here. All right, so what's going to happen is that you're going to see the first wave of attack. And when I say the first wave of attack, you'll just see a whole bunch of people, okay, started walking towards me, and they're all coming from either the bus or the train station, but they've already been, uh, this has already been set up, the night before, right? And so everyone there, they employ, they all going to work, but they all participate in the target, and they're going to employ them to do these things, right? And I'm going to explain it to you guys. Okay, so let's move on to the next video. So this, after that video ended, because I thought, hey, that was it, until this guy here started doing these hand signals, and so I was like, okay, well, I got to start recording again. Okay, now I want you to pay attention to this guy in the red hat. Again, the color red is a theme here, right? Color red meant to invoke anger to try to get you to act out, right? Because they figure, it's like a bull. When the bull sees red, it gets angry and attacks the person wearing red, or whatever that, the I forget what you call it, what the matadors use, right? So red, when you're being attacked this heavily and this frequently, you're going to get angry. You're going to want to have what is called the fight or flight phenomenon, right? So your adrenaline start pumping if you're going to get angry, or you might be fearful, right, and turn around and leave. So that's in the beginning of my targeting. That's what I used to do. But until, like I said, until I really understood what was happening to me, and this was much longer, much years long. I've been in this program for almost 20 years. Okay, I was here, up until 10 to 12 years. You know, I was still in sometimes in that fight or flight mode. Okay, so you see, he's just standing there. Okay, and what he's doing, he's waiting for the other person so that they now will act in tandem to one another in targeting. Okay. Okay, so here she comes. So as she approaches, she thought she was doing this, and then he now reaches into his back pocket. Okay, and this is where they're going to use the opportunity of the wallet, right? Because you know, early on during my targeting, I was robbed, and this was a setup. They set this up. The police set this up. They set me up to be robbed so they can have my wallet with my identification in it, right? So here she comes, right? And you'll see me turn towards her and him because, again, I realized that when it wasn't until she started walking and started doing this that he went to the machine, right, to get a Metro card. Okay, because he was standing there. You saw him standing there, right? The first thing you would do when you get to the bus stop, bus station, what have you, if you want a fare for the bus, you would go to the machine, to get your fare. You wouldn't stand there, okay, for a few minutes and then decide, okay, now I'm going to go get a ticket, and he was waiting for the bus, okay. So you'll see here. Okay, and now watch what she's going to do when she's finished with her feet. If you look at her feet, you'll see that she raised up her toes with her heel planted on the ground. Right? See that? And then she's going to do it again with the other feet, with the other foot, where she's going to raise up her toes with her heels planted on the ground. Okay? And now he's going to leave. Right? And now you'll see this woman over here in this green and yellow dress. She starts covering her mouth like this. Right? So they have to have multiple people positioned multiple places. So every direction that you turn, you're going to be targeted. Right? And you hear keys jingling. And you see, because I anticipate their movement, that's why you see I'm recording uh, right across the street, right? Because I know that whatever position I turn, there's going to be someone there that's going to be following up on the targeting, right? So if I had turned to the right, person would be doing the same thing. They might be wearing a different article of clothes, but they'll be doing the same thing by covering their mouth. Or like if I turn to the right or to the left. Okay, so let's go back because all right, there you go, here you go. Okay, so now You'll see this man comes into the frame, and what is he doing? He's looking at me. His eyes is on me, and he's doing this. Okay, see the folded lip. Okay, and again, as he's doing that, right? Look, as he's doing this, let's go. Went back a little too far. Okay, as he's doing this, he's looking at me. His eyes are looking at me. Then you'll see. I don't know if you can see, but now he's going to be looking. Remember, in the beginning of this video when I started, actually not in the very beginning, but in the first video where I'm walking to the bus stop, you'll see the Hispanic lady with the teenage, maybe her granddaughter or relative, what have you. So now, after he looks at me, he looks over at, again, the young, the teenage Hispanic girl, and you'll see they're walking, right? So now, I thought they were waiting on the bus stop. They stood up, I mean, on the bus. They were at the bus stop, right? All of a sudden now, again, after they run this first set of a street theater, now they're going to leave. See? Okay? All right. So now we're going to move on to another phase now. Again, you see the woman wearing the, when she's, her bag, the Invicta bag. Okay? So now, the guy that's standing there, right here, okay, in the black and white hat, they're going to be using him now. Now, also, I want to remind you while this is going, pay attention to when people are walking away from me, how their wrists are turned, and where now you'll start to see the palm of their hand, right? And then I'm going to show you that people who are walking across the street who are not close to me as they're walking, their hands are to their side in the natural position in which as you would walk and swing your arm, right? Which is your palm facing inwards to the side of your body. So you see now he comes, he's looking at me, right? I didn't pay him any attention. So now he's mad. So now he's gonna walk, towards me now, and he's gonna be doing this. Okay? So you see, as he looks down, and they try to do it very fast and very slick, they're gonna be looking down at my crotch area. Okay? Okay, that's my alarm. Okay? So just check him out. Quick look down. Quick look down. Then he looks at my face. Okay, and I'm staring at him too because I have the phone turned as he's walking, right? And then he mumbles something. Okay? Okay, and again, so the guy, now you see this woman here, she's running, and she's doing this again to try to make it as naturally occurring as possible. You're running for the bus. You're running for the bus. You breathe, so you're not going to be running doing this, right? Because we know when you run, your body exerts energy, right? And also your heart speeds up, right? So you need oxygen, right? So people don't run doing this, okay? And I gotta break it down to a science for you guys, so you guys understand. Because like I said, I spent many years studying these people's behavior and studying this program, okay, and how it has affected me and the people around me. And so you'll see this woman here again. They do this from time to time where they'll do like this, start wiping their eyes like if they're in tears. Now you see this guy behind her. He starts pulling on his clothes. Okay. All right. Again, let's see. Okay. So now you see this guy. He's walking past me, and he has a tissue in his hands, and he's acting as he's wiping his nose, right? But again, this is all uh, street theater. Let me just turn off the webcam. Like I said, so usually when I'm doing these videos, all of a sudden my face starts itching. you know, this time it's my ears that's itching. Okay, so let's continue. Okay, so now you see this woman walking here. I think the first video I showed you that those two women walking, and as they got close to me, she put her hands over, like, to her shoulder with four fingers like this. So now you're going to see the same thing here. Okay. Now watch where her pocketbook, where the straps of her pocketbook is at. Right. Okay. So now, what is she fixing? All right. But again, she's not fixing anything. It's the use of the forefinger, the numbers that they use there. They'll try to condition you to numbers, right? So recently it's been the number four. So that's why they do the four fingers like that. And again, she'll try to mask it. But I recognize the masking techniques and tactics also. Okay, to try to make it not look so obvious. But again, once you understand it, and I spent a lot of years analyzing my thought when the street theaters was happening, and the remote neural monitoring what was happening. Um, for example, like when somebody, like even today, I mean, I didn't record it, but I got off the bus, and this girl was wearing a purple and white T-shirt, and it had the word heat on it, right? And when I saw it, like there was a loud inner voice that said heat. Okay, it was a very loud inner voice that said the word. Okay, and I guess it means that they're bringing the heat in terms of the veracity of how they're targeting me, right? As you'll see here. So again, you'll see the red vehicle, the red theme being used here, try to get me to be angry, dragged out. Okay, you'll see this kid walking, again, masking the palm fixation drill. As he turns and he gets close, what does he do? He opens up his hand so that I can see the palm of his hand. Also, lately, I've been getting a lot of calls on my phone, unknown numbers, again, with the number 32 repeatedly in the majority of these phone calls that I get. Okay, so again, see the fixation drill of the palm. Okay, so here's the first purple and white shirt, person in the purple and white shirt that shows up. And as he's walking towards me, he's doing this. Okay, and I want you guys to pay attention to the number of red shirts that you see, people wearing red. Okay, so as he comes, stands up in front of me, now he's gonna play the touchy-feely game, what I call the touchy-feely game. They're gonna be touching all over themselves, playing with their hair, or tugging on their clothes, or resting their palm against their clothing. Okay, so again, you'll see these two women talking here. When he comes over, they had stopped to speak to each other. Again, this is all, they're working in tandem. Okay, now I want you to watch the one in the red dress. Again, the red theme being played out here. Again, okay, you see she does this. Let's go back. Okay, now as she's pointing, she's doing this in my direction. He's going to start doing this, biting on his nail. Okay, now check this out. Four fingers. See? He put his arms, his hand across his body. You see the four fingers. Okay? Now watch. Again, she walks off. He walks off. Bus is coming up. Right? So everything is timed and synchronized. cars, buses, trains, everything is synchronized. Then you'll see a Hispanic woman walking up, starts playing with her hair. When she plays with her hair, see the guy in the red shirt, he comes into view. He walks up into view, stands there, okay, looking at his phone. Okay, guy that's walking into the store, you'll see he grabs his behind. Let's go back again. Go ahead. Right there. It looked like he grabbed his behind. All right. Well, okay, let's go. Let's continue. All right. So here's the next phase. The next phase, you'll see this girl, young girl. Okay. Now, if you pay attention, and you'll see as she walks away from me, she has an ankh around her neck, attached to a chain. An ankh is an ancient Kemetic symbol. It's the original version of the cross, even though the cross was also used in ancient Kemet, or what is called Egypt today. And they never targeted me with people who are from the conscious community. Usually you'll see them wearing ankh and stuff like that. But from time to time, they will get one or two persons, right, in that community to participate in my targeting, just to let me know that they have infiltrated every community, every organization, uh, to engage and participate in these type of psychological harassment torture program, right? Okay. Now I want you to pay attention to these three. Okay, these three. So the guy that's walking in a aqua uh, light teal shirt. I guess the color teal, right? Okay. So now as he comes, he approaches. She's gonna walk out. Right now, they all start walking out. Yeah, both of them, the two guys, start walking out at the same time. Okay. Okay. Now they're gonna walk back. But now he's gonna come. The guy in the teal shirt. He's gonna come and stand up next to me. Okay. And now as he is walking, you see the guy in the hat, the cap, the baseball cap. Looks at his phone. Now the older guy, he's gonna do this. Okay. Again, you'll see mask the forefinger as he reaches into his pocket. Right, he didn't take anything out, but again, this is a masking technique, right? Then he starts coughing. As he does that, that's a signal. The guy in the baseball cap takes his phone out of his pocket, his shirt pocket, looks at it. He's going to put it back right there. And now she's going to walk off, and watch how she's staring at me, right? She's looking directly in my face. Okay? And there she goes as she looks down briefly at my crotch. Now, as she walks off, and the camera didn't quite, the phone didn't quite catch it. Okay. And as I pan back, you'll see the guy standing next to me. He brings his hands down. It's because he was covering his mouth. Okay, he turns back around. Yes, guy in the red shirt, as he's walking up, you'll see he touches his ear. Go back slightly. Okay, now the thing is, they're using this older gentleman because I guess he might not have any teeth, so naturally he's going to be doing this, right? Because again, like I said, they will make it look as naturally as possible. He's gonna be standing there for a good while. So sometimes, so you see the guy in the red shirt as he walks past me. Let's go. There's a couple things that's happening here, right? And so I just want to get it just right. Explain to you guys. Okay. So you'll see the guy in the red. Okay. At this point, the old gentleman, you see his hand slightly dips down because he grabs his crotch. Okay. So let's go back slightly so you guys can see this. Okay, right there. You see his pants. If you look in between his leg, his pants moved because he grabbed his crotch. See, it moved up and then moved down when he put his hands. Then he turns towards me. Again, yes, the guy in the red shirt walking, sticks his hand in his ears, right there, or his mouth. It looks like he was covering his mouth. Okay, and so now you can see guy in the red hat as he's walking towards me, bows his head, and again, just as how from time to time in the previous video you see the guy standing at the corner, not at the corner, but out in the street. He was wearing the red Cincinnati cap. So from time to time they'll have, you know, guys wearing the red Washington National hat, and this is a subliminal message to let me know that this is Washington. You know, this is a government program. Okay. And then you see he sticks his hands in his ears. Okay. And again, he's doing this. Takes his wallet out. You'll see he stick his middle finger out at me. Okay. Now, it wasn't like he's sticking it out to grab his wallet, because you'll see he never touched his wallet. See that? Okay. This is a heavy blitz campaign that's going on here. Okay. All right. Now, here comes the next phase. You see more people walking. Let's go back. You'll see this guy. Let's go back slightly. Again, woman doing this as she's walking in the red, white, and blue shirt and red pants. Okay, now I want you to watch this guy that's coming walking towards me. He's wearing all black. Okay. You'll see at a point, you'll see him grabbing his crotch right here. Okay, you see where his hands is at? He's grabbing his crotch. Okay. Now as he gets close, you're now going to rest his hands, right? Now you see the forefinger on his close, and he's going to leave it there until he gets close. See that? Okay. Now here comes Angry Joe. So again, because I'm not really paying him any mind, you'll see he looks down at my crotch. Okay, trying to be very slick, but that's what he's doing. And you can see his eyes. Okay. Then again, the red theme is at play here. The red theme again. Like I say, you'll start to see a lot of red shirts. Another guy walking across the street with the red shirt. A woman in a red dress. There's another guy with the red shirt. So red seems to be the most popular color this morning. All right. Now again, takes out his phone and the red, looks at it. The woman again wearing a red shirt. See the guy across the street with the red bag, or a woman across the street with the red bag. Again, let's go back. So now, I went back a little too far. That's okay. Okay, and as you see, as he's walking, he looks up at the window. I talked about this, how they always look at the window, so I start looking at the window also when they walking towards me. Okay, he takes his phone out. Okay, now here's another, the purple and white shirt again. And I wish I would have, I should have recorded when I got off the bus, but I didn't, and that was my mistake because there was a lot more, including when I got to Pam's building. This a woman walking with a banana in her hand, and again, they do that to say, oh, oh, you're crazy, because I can recognize the psychological attack patterns, and I engage, uh, with them with the same patterns, right? So again, in Coercive Persuasion, it is the reoccurrence of a mental illness or a physical illness. Sometimes, they'll do things uh, to where, uh, um, my back would be, aggravated. She'll start hurting. Like for instance, if my daughter come home, I bring them home from school, she just start throwing stuff all over the floor, just like losing her bloody mind, and just start throwing everything on the floor, until I had to like make her stop, tell her to go sit down, and then it's like she can't stay still. So sometimes they have her in that hyper mode in which she just do that, and then I have to pick the stuff up, but I stop doing it. I make her pick it up now. Okay, so let's see the guy that's walking by me, um, right here, and you'll see him again doing this, right? Okay, let's get to the next video, continuation. Okay, so I didn't quite get this part here, but the woman that has the blonde hair, and you'll see her hands come down as she pinch her nose like that, and then she raised her hands so I can see again the palm of the hand, the fixation drill. Okay, and then you'll see the guy here, the older gentleman, You know, he sticks his hands out, his pointing finger, and I talked about how I was conditioned to that, okay, early on in my targeting. So now you guys should know when they're doing this or they're waving their pointing finger, it is a trigger, and the anchor is the memory of when that police officer would target me at my job, okay? All right, so as they're doing this guy in the yellow and purple shirt, you'll see he pinches his nose again, and we let this run. Okay, she looks at the old guy that's next to me, and she does this also. Okay, it was very brief. Okay, there he goes, pinching his nose. Okay, he's doing it again. Okay, grab again, puts his hands not quite on his crotch, but he grabs quite close to it. Because again, it has the same effect. All right, don't want to make it so blatant. Okay, you see again, he's staring at my face. Again, a lot of red and white at the same time. Okay, see the guy walking his daughter, eyes looking down at my crotch just briefly. Okay, and you'll see as I turn. Okay, so you'll see him there looking down at my crotch, and as I turn, and pause it just right. You see 4 fingers. He puts his 4 fingers over his face, right? And you guys can hear the noise campaign going on at the same time. Ambulance, okay? Again, now the guy furled up in the baseball cap, he started pinching his nose. Okay, and then he starts doing this. Then he's looking at his nail. Okay, again, you see 4 fingers again. Puts his hands over his face. Okay, now this is how they're going to use the theme of about my disability, right? So you see these 2 guys walking with canes, just like I have my cane. I walk with my cane, and again, this is the next wave. This is the next subliminal that they're sending. Okay. Now you see that red car that drove by. What should happen? So all of a sudden now, what he does is that he opens up his cup lid to drink out of the cup, which he hasn't done before. But as soon as these guys pass, walking with their canes, he opens up his cup lid to drink it. And again, that ties that ties into the Let's go back to there we go, the covert type investigations, right? And so what he's trying to imply, and they do this all the time, is that every time prior to receiving my disability payments, they will run the theme using the police as to say, well, if I continue to receive my disability, they're going to open up an investigation against me, right? This is the type of things that they'll do, right? So apparently, I guess the government is supposed to experiment on you, illegally microchip you, violate your privacy, destroy your life, your livelihood, destroy your body, destroy your mind, and then also take away all your means of financial support, your job. If you receive disability, they try to take that away from you. You know, this is what's going on. You know, the complete disintegration of a person's psychology, the complete disintegration of a person's social status, the complete disintegration of a person's structure, the complete disintegration of a person's relationships. Okay, so this is what's happening. This is what's going on. Okay. All right. Wrong page here. Okay, so individuals can use words, action, and sounds that will make a target recall memory associated to observe reactions from the target, such as fear, surprise, embarrassment, red face, anger, and different emotions. From these reactions, the observer can obtain clues to the level of involvement or knowledge that the target may have about a certain event. But what knowledge? I don't have any knowledge about a certain event, right? A simple example of this is if the targeted individual was involved in an event that has a specific location, the group can say the name of that location, like a street name. If the target does not associate this to anything or any memory, he will disregard the comments of strangers and have no reaction. If, however, the target does associate it to something, he may or may not have different reactions. Now, this right here, and I'm going to add to this, sometimes it's true, but sometimes it's false. What they will do, okay, and like I said, is that they will prime you. So let's say there's a street that they want to know if you know, okay? They may, leading up to this particular theater, street theater, if you're on the computer, if you're watching television, they may uh, gear you to programs or gear you to websites that have that particular name of that street on it, right? Or if you're on social media, there'll be references to that particular street. And then when it's played out in the open, they will say the name of the street. And then when you kind of give a reaction, what the people out there don't know is that they've primed you. They've created in your mind the association or the memory because of the event leading up to the street theater. This is what they do. Okay? They do this all the time. This is how they get away with a lot of shit, right? So, for instance, like I said, the use of Hispanic women recently in my target in a very peculiar, particular way, and then now you're going to see how they're going to now use that theme of the Hispanic woman and anchor it to events, right? Not events, but uh, anchor it to the actions of the other civilian perpetrators that's going to be doing the street theater. Okay, so you'll see this woman walking, and where's she at here? Okay, as she turns, she sticks her middle finger out. See that? I'll show that again. Okay, so you see he does this as he's wiping his mouth. Again, that's all masking. Again, it's be quiet, don't say nothing. You know. All right, you'll see as she's walking, where she puts her finger. Okay, the middle finger is sticking out. You see the guy in the back in the blue shirt. Again, covers his mouth. All right. Now, here's the next phase. As you see these two women here gonna come and they're gonna stand up in front of me. Okay. Now, again, he covers his mouth as I turn back. Again, this woman here, folding her lips as she's walking towards me. She stops. Red theme again. Okay. Now here's the wallet. Again, opens up the wallet. Right. Again, like I said, they run a specific theme here, and these actions again is to recall a memory, which is, you know, when I was robbed, a wallet was stolen, and this is what was happening here. So you close it. He doesn't reach in it for anything. He just opens it and closes it so that I can see. And again, you'll see this woman here. She's wearing pink pants and a black top. She starts playing with her hair. Okay. Now she moves out of view. And then you'll see the same guy now. The same guy before. He's going to look at her. He's looking at her. Okay. This is they're signaling each other. Right? He's looking at her. Comes back. You'll see now he's looking down at my shoes, my sneakers. All right, I'm wearing blue, white, yellow, and red sneakers. So again, the use of colors, and then you'll see looking at my crotch, and then you'll see another female walking doing this. Okay, all right. I'll pay attention to this guy in the red. As she does that, you see how he shows me his phone. Let's go back slightly. Let's see there. He's looking at my shoes. All right. He's looking at the guy in the red. Now he's looking at my crotch. You see where his eyes is at? Now he's staring at my crotch. Again, you know, do sexual harassment. I'm going to talk about that also. Okay. So you see the woman. She's doing this. Okay. Now the guy in the red. He's going to take his phone out of his pocket just so I can see, and then just shows me very slightly. And again, it's all masking. All right. Okay, so now what do you think is going to happen? Remember that girl in the pink and black? So now this red car, you see, because the color red is a theme, and they've been using it a lot lately. So you'll see as they walk by, some of the civilian perps, they'll look in the direction of the red car. First one looks. Second one, in the white shirt, looks. She looks up, the one behind him in the blue shirt. Let's go back again. Red card. He looks at the red card. I mean, everything is planned and timed. Okay? Synchronization. Precision. See, he looks. Now she's going to look up, which where her eyes is at. Okay? She's looking up at the sky. Okay? Okay. Okay? So now, the use of the color yellow. Yellow shirt. She has a yellow bag. Right? But I tell you, they work in tandem. Okay? As you'll see, as he was walking towards me, he was doing this. Okay? Again, looks down at my crotch, looks at me. Okay? So now, you'll see the Hispanic woman now, and everything from this point on is going to be built around her. Okay? This is what is called the power of association. The week prior, leading up to today, using a lot of Hispanic women to target me. Now, she's going to come and she's going to stand up right here. Starts playing with her ears. First thing she does. Okay. Now, again, that's the trigger. Now she is going to walk towards me now, and you'll see she's pressing her hands against her clothing. Right, directly in front of me now. She starts walking very slowly, directly in front of me. Again, using the hands, the four fingers, except this time she has her thumb showing. Okay. All right. Now the Hispanic woman standing at the bus stop. She starts with she's doing four fingers. You can see that's what she's doing. Okay. Now she starts playing with her ears again. Okay. And so now the civilian perpetrators now is going to look in her direction. Then they're going to look at me. She acting like if he's trying to be slick and try to grab his butt. Another Hispanic woman walking towards me again. Actually, she's not Hispanic. She's light skinned black. High yellow. Black woman. And she started doing this. So again, it's the palm of the hand fixation drill. After looking at her direction. All right. Now the guy, he has blue hair. He does this. Okay. Now she's with a white woman. Okay, so now another perp gonna come stand up next to me. He looks over at her. Okay. I gotta pause this so you see what he does. Again, put his hands on his clothing, press his thumb against it. Let's go. She sticks her finger in her ears. Caucasian lady. What she do? This, right? Then again, you see another lady over here that's walking. She start pinching her nose. Okay, now he walks off. He got shades on, but he's looking down at my crotch. Best believe it. Okay, you see the guy up here again. He does this again. Again, the guy. He waits until he gets to the Hispanic woman standing at the bus stop to put on his book bag. Actually, before that, I forgot this little girl. Uh, and again, you'll see as she gets close, she starts now moving her hands, palm of the hands. See the way how she's moving her hands. There you go. Tell you, they got their children trained. They got them trained properly. So he waits until he gets to the Hispanic woman. Then he's gonna put his bag on again. Fixation, palm of the hand. Okay, masking it with the action. The action of I was about to say the act, but it's the same. The act of the action of putting on his book bag now, so he has to reach behind his back to put his arms inside the straps. And now you see this guy in the black and blue shirt, baseball cap. He's going to put his hands against his clothing and leave it there, his palm of his hands on his clothing. Right? Now he closes it, and you'll see the pointing finger again, and he's looking across the street, and what's across the street is an ambulance. Now the guy in the red, now he steps into view, right? So you see how their movement is so coordinated, right? Okay. So what does he do? The guy in the red, right? He looks at his watch, and he puts his hands down to his crotch area. Okay. Now he's not going to do it. He's not going to turn around and do it towards me, right? Because it would be so blatantly obvious. So again, they do it in such a way that they can say, well, that's his interpretation, okay? Because you can't really see his hands, but I know exactly what he's doing, and you'll see the woman walking down now. She's going to be doing this. See that? To the guy in the red again. Now he steps back up. Okay, so now the woman in the lavender shirt, she just put her hands over her mouth. The man in the blue baseball cap, now he's sticking his finger in his ears. Okay, so now he's gonna move. Man that's done next to me. Okay, now instead of four fingers, now they're gonna revert to three. Okay, now he does, when she does that, you'll see the guy in the green shirt. He's gonna step out. All right, and he's acting as if he's coughing. She moves where her back now is turned towards me. Okay. Do you see their faces? They know they're up to no good. You can tell by the expressions on their faces that they know exactly what they're doing. Again, he's going to take out his wallet. As he takes out his wallet, he does this. Basically, again, and then she's behind him, sticks her finger in her ears, right? And you see as he does that, uh, the Hispanic woman, she turns, walks out, right? Now you see he stick his tongue out, right? Did you see that? I actually missed that. So let's go. So right there, he sticks his tongue out. She's behind him, sticks her finger in her ears. Okay. Looks at his palm of his hand. Okay, does this, whatever the hell that is. Um, she sticks her finger in her ears. Then again, the guy up there, the blue baseball cap on, he sticks his finger in his ears. The guy walking, doing this. Okay. Again, he does the same thing that the Hispanic guy in the green shirt did. Then he pinches his nose. See that? I guess that's the clue for the guy in the blue here to walk, stand next to me. Okay. Followed by noise. And as I turn, the woman here, the young lady here, covers her mouth. You'll see the lady here in the white shirt. She's doing the same thing too. She did it the one in front in the jeans jacket. It was very brief as I turned, so I only caught her hands moving down. But you see the woman here in the white. Again, she has her hands over her mouth. Okay, and then she starts looking at the palm of her hands and then looking at her nails. Okay, actually she had her phone. She's looking at her phone. The woman here in the green and white shirt, she's walking towards me. She's doing this. Again, so you see the repeated pattern here, right? And I'm going to pause it. Let's go slowly. Now, I want you to watch what happens, right? So this guy steps up. Again, you'll see the hand signal with the thumb, the index finger curve. Again, going to mask it by acting as if he's pulling down on his zipper, but he's actually pinching his shirt, right? Just the tip of his shirt. So now you see this guy, he just kind of rushed in front of me, right? Why? Because again, the LA tattoo on his neck. Now, usually when this happens, it's because they try to, this is a trigger. So whatever the anchor is, yeah, it might be 2 word or 1 word, right? With each letter representing the beginning of a separate word, or the 2 letters is the beginning of a word. But this is just, to me, I just say, it's a LA tattoo, right? So, and which baseball team is in LA? The Los Angeles Dodgers. Okay, and I'm walking with a cane. Now this guy just kind of rushed past me to get onto the bus, right? Just walked past me real fast. And at that point, I'm just like, hey, Go ahead. You want to get in front of me so bad? Go ahead, bro. You know what I'm saying? But this is what they do. Okay, this is what they do, right? So to be able to break it down for you guys in real time, as I'm, not really real time, but I'm viewing the video and I'm breaking it down. But this is the stuff that these people do. Okay, without a question. All right. So when you look at the um, the top priorities or objective is to discredit or destroy the victim's credibility, to conceal psychological warfare knowledge, to eliminate the victim means of uh, subsistence or resources. Okay, some of the identified weapons are the psychiatry to use of psychiatry to attack the psychological integrity and credibility of the victim, the weapon of degrading themes or pedophilia to use as a threat or to prevent exposure. So when they're doing this to me, it's because they don't want me to talk about it. They want me to shut up, right? And then using teenagers and recently, with basically Hispanic women is, you know, trying to send me a subliminal message that they're going to use Hispanic women against me in whatever capacity, maybe implicate me in some sort of crime or something like that. This is what they do. They also do something with black women and they do it with Jewish women. So from time to time, when things don't work out, then they go back to repeating the same tactics over and over again, right? So as a target individual, you can't just go all the time by reaction. You have to sit back, observe. Yes, you can engage them psychologically, but that's it. Don't do it verbally, unless you're at a point where you just need to get some heat off. You know what I'm saying? Some steam off. As the girl I was walking as I got off the bus wearing the same purple and white T-shirt with the words "heat" on it, right? So this is the things that they do, right? Um, the weapon of high levels of stress and sleep deprivation, and the weapon of homelessness, which I showed you in the beginning, the homeless theme. Even on the bus on my way here, using a homeless guy that was standing in front of um, a health clinic, right? Now, from time to time, because that health clinic also has a psychiatrist. They have psychiatrists in the facility, and they've been, I guess they don't want me to go speak to psychiatrists because I think a lot of psychiatrists now are understanding what is really happening. So now they're doing things to try to prevent targeted individuals from going to speak to a psychiatrist, right? Or to talk about their targeted, right? And so for me, and I'll tell TIs this: if you've studied the program like I have, and you're able to engage in these people in a psychological manner, sometimes you may do a little outburst here and there, but if it's not physical and you're able to recognize the pattern and you're able to, defend yourself against it by, engaging in the psychological warfare against them also, you can go speak to psychiatrists. You know, let them know that, hey, you know what? I've developed certain defense mechanism, you know, to uh, combat some of these things, and I just need somebody I can talk to who can understand and who can put things into perspective. You know what I'm saying, in a way that give me more of a clarity, right? But if that psychiatrist you go to is not willing to help you, only want to prescribe you only medication, and not talk to you and not try to understand what you're going through, you need to find another psychiatrist, because a lot of these psychiatrists are part of this program. Okay, they are part of this program without a doubt. Okay, all right. There was something I talked about here. Yeah, the mental health system, which I talked about, and it says it is also a documented fact that there was collaboration, and they are, between doctors and the military when experiments were carried out in prisons, hospitals, universities on unwitting people in North America. Now let's talk. recently, um, in the Iraq War, right, and the war in Afghanistan. What did the CIA did? They infiltrated the American, the APA, the American Psychiatric Association, right? They put uh, psychiatrists on the board of the APA who changed the definition of torture, which gave the Bush administration a green light to torture enemy combatant, captured enemy combatants. On top of that, two of the top psychiatrists in the country, okay, developed and created the new CIA psychological torture program. Not just psychological, but also physical torture program. Psychological and physical torture program. Okay? So don't let anybody tell you that the US government don't engage in these types of programs. They haven't created these types of programs. They don't engage in experimenting on human beings, non-consensual human beings, because there's a whole uh, treasure trove of evidence and information that prove contrary. Okay. Um, so let I'd even say here. It says, you know, when it comes to what we talk about, the majority of psychiatrists, because they've all been infiltrated and been and play a key role in denying and not validating your claim of what's happening to you. Okay, it is being done purposely. Okay, it is being done purposely. All right, and they talk about the use of surveillance and stuff like that. So, but I'm not going to get into that. I'm going to end the video at this point. Um, 'cause I just wanted to do this because, again, there are times when I'm able to get video of a certain, street theater psychological attack or noise campaign that to me is so obvious, right? That I just have to put it out there right away. And this morning was one of them. Okay. And, like I said, being that now they have, um, you know, almost totally destroy the intimate relationship between Pam and I. So now what they're going to do is now they're going to start sending, you know, um, women my way, right? So I can talk to them, but I already know what they're up to. Okay, I already know what they're up to. Okay, it's like because it's like they're trying to put me with a new handler now, right? With a new female handler now, but that's okay. I'm good. I'm fine. I'm staying away from these females because the majority of women that you come in contact with, if you're a male TI, you're not gay, you're a heterosexual male TI, uh, and with any other TI, whether you're gay, straight, or have you, the most likely, the people that you come in contact with, that you may like or they may be interested in you, it is because this is, they can no longer, uh, the person that they've used on is no longer effective, so now they got to put you with somebody new, right? And again, so once that's happened, that person becomes more effective because that person don't really know you. They haven't developed the feelings, of knowing you for a long period. And so with somebody new, they don't, the person that going to be targeting you that you're with don't have to feel bad because they don't really know you. You know what I'm saying? There is no emotional attachment. And I think with Pam is that now that there is no emotional attachment between me and her now, so it's more this, after they destroy that relationship, then it's like they do it to the next. All right, they move on to the next, and then and they do. And like I said, for her to tell me that she was trying to train me to be who she wanted me to be, right? But I remember when I complained about certain things about her, she's like, well, I just want you to accept me for who I am. But yet You didn't accept me for who I am, but you were trying to change me into the person who you wanted me to be. That's ridiculous. Okay, and again, when somebody says that to you, it's like it just shows that they don't see you as a human being. They see you as a toy, as a tool that they can use and discard whenever they see fit. Okay, and it's sad. It's really sad.